Good evening and welcome to this week's Swing Club. So what I'm going to do today is what I usually do is run through these markets quickly. One of the things I would say is we've got, let's just look at it. Today, this week, we've got some key data coming out. We've got I'm just going to use this one here and look at the data that's coming out throughout the week here. So today's data is coming out. We do have the Japanese inflation data coming out very shortly. I'll say shortly this evening, but more importantly, as we run through, we've got some final data there. It's French services, PMI, etc. Not quite so important, and all these final data, it's less impact. But as we run into Wednesday, we've got the ADP non-farms, which are horrendously out of place, but they can create some reasonable volatility. So that's at 1:15 on Wednesday. We've got the Bank of Canada, then the rate statement coming out at 2:45 on Wednesday. So we've got evening, Michael. So we've got a couple of key things there on Wednesday. Fed Chair Powell is testifying at 3 p.m. At the semi-annual monetary policy report before the House of Representatives. Okay, so that's coming in before the Fed meeting, which then occurs on Thursday. Now, I beg your pardon, it's not the Fed meeting at all. This is the recent meeting, the last meeting. What we've got on Thursday, more importantly, is the ECB press conference, and the decision, which is really key this week. Sorry, looking at Fed Powell and I'm thinking he's talking, and then anyway, he is talking. That could create some volatility as he testifies in front of the different houses there. So he does it on Wednesday in front of one house. Then Thursday he testifies in front of the Senate Banking Committee. But more importantly, then we've got the non-farm payrolls on Friday, and they're the really key things. This is what moved the markets quite significantly last month. The jobs numbers came in at around about 350,000, a positive figure, and there's only expected to be about 170, 180, I believe. This time we expect it at 190. A positive surprise could cause some further hardening or hawkishness with the US dollar and see things obviously sell. But the most important thing this week is there are some key news events, so be wary, because the markets will go still in between. There are some opportunities in terms of what we can do. Sorry, I wasn't scrolling this down, but anyway, I've told you what the news is. Let's look at the technicals and the markets, and we'll run through them. The euro, it's doing okay today. It's quite interesting watching the major markets here and looking at the euro, the pound, which are both going upwards, and then all the other markets, particularly the commodities markets. CAD, it is going up, but that's the dollar going up, not the Canadian dollar going. So we're seeing strength in the European markets and the US dollar, and weakness in the commodities. So most of the commodities markets have done pretty well today. Whether we get a continuation, that we'll see. But the sentiment, I was looking through the sentiment, which big picture sentiment, US dollar remains reasonably strong. The euro, it's starting to strengthen a little bit again. The pound is continued week after week. It's shown a sort of a weekly positive number. It is negative in net positions, but traders are gradually going bullish. So the signs are there. Likes the yen, and with the Aussie's got a little blip, but really the Aussie, the yen, and the Canadian dollar are all being quite weak. New Zealand dollar, you've got to watch for that one, because if things do change there, it's got quite an upward sentiment basically on that. The rest, like the Swissy, are down. Equity markets, if you're looking at S&Ps, etc., well, they're largely up. Oil's up, gold's up, so there we go in terms of sentiment. But technicals, well, they are they are largely there as well, apart from oil slipping back today. Anyway, let's look at these markets then, and euro first. I struggled to get in this week in a sense. I've been in a euro CAD from last week, and that's still running. This it's still below its 50 simple moving average. It's having a bit of a reaction to that. It could pick up and continue push through, but Thursday's a big risk with it. So against the dollar, I think I'll leave it alone. The pound we got more potential with. It has put a pivot swing in here. Maybe it's got the scope to get back up towards those prior highs. Things got to bear in mind there, it's not very far. The stops are going to be, you're going to have to put a reasonable size stop on this, and well, we could get a breakout this time and more of a continuation. If we look at it from a weekly picture, you see it's just been trickling in there, bit flaggy looking. Well, it's a bit extended really. You can see why these markets just haven't really moved massively, and we've lost the volatility that we had been seeing. And the market's gone quite flat when you look at it like this. But there is the scope to kick in. Iffy. I'm not really keen on buying it apart from intraday type holdings there. The yen, I'm still looking at this on the potential long side further. Again, we've got key resistance where my pointer is at the moment there. So there is the risk of that as far as it will go if it does break up. Australian dollar, I really liked this on the short side a couple of weeks ago, and then it sort of started pushing back up there, but it's rolled back over towards the end of last week. I've got an alert sat there to see if it does start breaking down there. It'll probably go when I'm asleep or something, but I still like the overall picture to the downside. The 4 hourly wise, we put in a triple bottom, and it's just not really managing to do too much. It's got quite a few key moving averages here on the lower time frames that might just hold it down, but you can just see it just looks soft. Again, it might be like an intraday trading currency for now into Friday, but certainly, well, I'd rather be on the short side of it than the long side. Canadian dollar, the opposite. This is the sentiment's quite bearish from the big money. This is sort of moving away. If it can break back above these prior highs that we've seen in recent days, that would suggest further upside there. Now, I am in a trade effectively short on the CAD because I'm long on the Euro CAD, so I'll probably just stick personally with that, but this has got some scope to push on. New Zealand dollar, again, well, it's just looking like it's almost back to its prior lows here, and looking a bit on the softer side at the moment. As I said, we just need to watch this. It's just underneath its monthly pivot at the moment. Technically, it could just dump. There's a possible sort of go with situation, but for now, I just don't like really how it's setting up. Swissy, a bit more bullish potentially, but look at the last week or so, largely pretty sidewards and not going too far. My thoughts here is this could just do exactly the same, so it's not something I want to be trading in. Euro yens, it looks a bit more interesting to me, but of course we've got to bear in mind on Thursday we've got the Euro meeting. Likes the Euro pound is not really doing too much, it's chopping here. Euro Aussie, now this was a day trade today. I don't know if anyone actually took it, but wherever it is, 60 minutes. No, that's the Euro Aussie, not the, sorry, it was the pound Aussie that was the day trade today. But this is pushing up quite well. Euro CAD, this was a trade that we discussed last week. It broke the high there. It's been dancing around, not doing too much. Again, consolidation, but again, it's looking quite solid. Would I want to enter from where it is at the moment? Not with the news out there this week. I think largely anything euro wise, it becomes a bit more of a day trade. I'm going to stick with this for now, and we'll see what happens as we get into sort of Thursday morning. I might make a decision from there whether to cut it loose or hedge it or what to do with it. but at the moment it still, to me, looks like it's got further upside. Euro New Zealand's similar-ish. You've got the sort of similar sort of upward side there. Again, a bit of a pivot swing there. Got the potential. Now, if this had been a normal week without the news, I'd have been thinking, yep, long on that, looks quite good. But we have the news. Sorry, this is the one that I looked at this morning for a day trade. There you go. It finally broke the highs there later on, about 1 o'clock. And that's pretty much off to the races. It hasn't got a lot more there before it would hit my original targets there. But on a daily basis, it's got scope to push on through more upside. Neither of them are affected too much this week, so we got the scope to trade this a little bit more. I'd look at it tomorrow morning though, or last thing tonight. But it is looking pretty solid at this stage. Other markets such as the pound CAD, again, this is sort of around those prior highs, sort of areas where you start seeing these sort of little breakout. The retail market will try and jump in because it's going in, then we get a reversal. So I am a tad wary of trying to enter these trades near previous highs like this. Of course it may break out from these highs, but I'd rather it break out, come back and then retest the previous highs and trade that way. Otherwise it could just pitch up, break through and roll over. So I'm sitting in there. That's my thoughts on that. So overall, not a great deal here with everything's got risk, but the euro risk, the dollar risk is quite high this week, of course. The pound yen, you could say, well, actually it's looking quite good for the upside, etc. It is, but coming into the ADP data on Wednesday, the non-farms on Friday, it can be a bit more biased sometimes on the yen than the pound, and it could get quite spoilt and messy. So that's where I am today. It's, as I said earlier on when we were talking about doing this evening, I don't have a great deal that I'm really keen on because of the effects of the potential dollar movement on Friday. I know we've got a week to run on that, and we could get some small swings in, but I'd rather be doing those more on a day basis than looking at it and holding in. The Euro CAD is a bit of an exception because we were in it from Tuesday, so it's sitting in there for a week, not really gone a long way, but it's shaping up. It's doing everything okay. As I said, I'll make a judgment call later on that. Any questions from anyone on YouTube? If you've got anything, if you've got any ideas that you're looking at that you might be interested in, the things like the equity markets, of course I've looked at those, and the S&Ps. Largely, there's so much in this upward trend at the moment. They're quite. I mean, it's I want a decent retrace. I talked about it last week. I think there was some lower time frame retracements that never quite got there on the 4-hourly here at the end of last week, but it eventually broke during the London session. But it's a lot of flatness kicking in, a lot of uncertainty. Say this week with the euro and of course the very key non-farm payrolls. They created such a move last month that I think traders are quite wary. Okay, so none there. Okay, well guys, in that case, I'll just pop the DAX on here, etc. DAX would be nice. I'll look at this week. If it was to come back to its monthly pivot, that could be quite nice. It's had a lovely move up there, bit of a retrace back to that monthly pivot. It's a potential. There was highs around that area, so it's basically a breakout and retrace. Okay, it's a bit slow, but it's too much momentum in it, maybe. The likes of the pound New Zealand, yeah. Aussie US, yeah, it's just the US is okay with MT4. Sorry if you can't read it on YouTube. I'm not sure if you can and can't, but with MT4 I will do a session one day if you like. If you've got some time, just let me know when you can be in, and I'll literally just open a platform and we'll just take it really steadily slow. You can ask all the questions. MT4 is one of the simplest tools to use in terms of trading. So it's very, very simple to trade it. I really like this platform, but I've used it for donkey's years. What about gold, Mem? Well, what about gold? Let's have a look at it. Whoops, not oil, gold. Gold is absolutely broken through here, isn't it? It's sort of spoilt the party a little bit. My only concern is, well, is it going to do the old what it did back here? I don't know. Is everyone going to start jumping aboard it now, and it'll just roll back again? The trade was probably last Friday. I think it'd broken out earlier in the morning anyway. Let's just roll it back. What time did that really go? Yeah, 7 o'clock in the morning. Pulled back 11 o'clock back to the test. So yeah, it went in the afternoon really on Friday, which was never and is never the best of times for me to be trying to trade it. Yeah, Martin, just let me know when you're about, and I'll do that, and we'll record it whilst I'm doing it, so you've got like a new recording of it. But it is, as I say, MT4 is one of my. It's so old. I mean, there's MT5s out now, but I still prefer MT4. Habit. Anyway, so what else we were looking at? So that was gold, Mem. I don't know how you feel about getting into it where it is now. For me, it really, it's the usual old thing there. It's gone. It went so late on the Friday, really. Sorry, what else we got? The pound New Zealand. Let's just switch back into forex. I was looking at that. Now it's got scope. It's moving. It has put a pivot swing in here, and it's much nicer. We were looking at this last week, and it started to move, and it went again. It's around these prior highs. It's looking like tomorrow could be a continuation at this rate. Got to watch the New Zealand a little bit, but the pound's in favour, it seems. But of course we've got budget day. I shouldn't forget budget, and I haven't mentioned it. But I can't see the market having the same effect to the budget as when Liz Truss was in power. In fact, I think my 17-year-old son would probably manage the budget better than she did. Or my 14-year-old daughter would definitely do it much better. She's quite good at spending other people's money. She'd be good, my daughter, actually. Yeah, it's a bit of a misboat. Pound New Zealand, it's got the scope here to continue. I'm looking at a 4-hourly time frame just coming down. So yes, it's got some scope. What else we got there? What are you looking at? Euro upside. Yeah, I like the Euro upside, Dean. It's got things aligning for it. They're just. I will talk about it in the trading room during the week, but they are expecting the interest rates, the European interest rates, to be reduced in June. Sorry, in June as well. So it'll be June for both the dollar and the euro on that basis. But there's so much dependent on the data this week, and I think I'd rather just try and day trade it and be out of it before the news largely. New Zealand yen. Yeah, it's shoulder. I struggle on that one. On the dailies, 4-hourly. I can't really see the head on that. Are you probably going to say this is the shoulder and the head and the shoulder? yeah, I tell you what, it would be nice if it was, if you was looking at this on a swing basis. The weekly pivots are so powerful at times, guys. I mean, I know we're talking swing, but this is semis. It's somewhere in between. The weekly pivots can be so good. Let's just pop, so see if we can see anything on here. I'll show you what I mean. Let's just run back a few. Let's see where we can. Yeah, there you go. So there's the buy side on that one. They're quite powerful. Here it was hanging around there. Okay, it was all flat and ugly back here. Had some times tried breaking away from that, but as I say, quite ugly, and sometimes they're not always going to work. Of course, that one's sort of broken off and whatever else. There's a lovely sell off, retrace, and pop off. You see how powerful the weeklies are. So you get some good little sort of 3 day, 2 day, 3 day swings. Yeah, in terms of the fundamental outlook, I'm quite happy to talk about that in a sense. There is this sort of thing with the euro that there's a good article written by ING, and the website is https, all that usual stuff, think.ing.com. And if you go on there, it's an absolutely excellent source of good fundamentals, and they'll talk about the 3 things that they're looking for themselves. Now they're the experts in terms of fundamentals, and one thing I would say is that they're probably much more online. And as I said this morning, it's because I agree with them basically, but they're much more in line with what I would expect quite often. And they can be completely different to quite a few of the others. So they have, but they at least they have good thinking behind their logic. And it's not like you're taking it away from Goldman Sachs or whatever else, which may have an alternative motive. But that would be, as I say, it's really whether they put in the communication regarding sort of a date, but they're very iffy in terms of they don't want to commit, of course. Anyway, well, ladies and gentlemen, yeah, possible. Sorry, Dean, on the New Zealand New Zealand dollar yen. If I've got that right, but possible. But I'd be looking at selling into the. If I was going to do that, I'm really just looking at the flag that's appearing here, and it'd be so nice if it. And you can wait for a bit of reaction. You see that, like here, it just got a bit of reaction. Just wait, and you can get some. Okay, that was a beautiful move. But that's the sort of thing well, I really want. EuroCAD used to be absolutely fantastic on its pivots. I mean, it's come off the pivot today, but it bounced off this is a quarterly pivot actually, and so when you're looking at it, I mean, it's going into education on swings, but these bigger time pivots are quite effective to trade and use, and you can get rid of some of the others, but really weekly, monthly and quarterly are absolutely perfect. I would totally ignore the dailies on it. The intention, the problem is a lot of people start looking at the dailies, and well, they're fine for day trading. It's not where we want to be when it's coming to swinging. Right, I will call it an evening because I do appreciate a lot of people have got to go places. And if there's any questions or whatever else, you can pop them down once you've watched this video. I do pick them up. It does send me alerts, so if there's anything you'd like to talk about, I've got plenty of different rooms that you can come and join me in terms of Telegram, Discord, and my trading room itself, so up till 10 o'clock each day. Right, okay, on that note, have a great evening, guys, and I will catch you later.